I had recently had an encounter at this kiosk with this man, and he lingered at my card checking numbers names, flipped it over looking at the card verification value. It was uncomfortable. On to the exchange. Me. Good morning, I would like 2 packs of Winston 100's 26 cigarettes. He proceeds to ask me for my card with a hand gesture. Him. It's 12, 20. Hand gesture again. Me. I would prefer to insert the card myself. Him. You can't do that. Me. I won't touch the machine at all, only insert the card. Him. Throws the machine down in disbelief. I can't let you do that. Me. Are you refusing service? Him. Yes. I asked for the complaints book, he refused, which legally he can't. But it was just me and him. I wait until another client shows up and asks for it again. He relents and gives it to me. As I open it, I realize I didn't have a pen. You have to write out your complaint. I ask for one, he refuses. I say okay. As soon as I open the book, I see something wrong. The first complaint is completely ripped out, all 3 pages are. The first page is for the person who makes the complaint, the second is a copy for the business, and the third is to remain in the book. Under no circumstance is the third page to disappear, even if it's a mistake and or taken back by the person who makes the complaint. It must remain in the book. Seeing as I had no pen, I start the process online, take the info, and start snapping pictures of the missing pages. As soon as he saw me taking pictures, he does a beeline from around the counter to me and tries to take the book away. I said I have every right to keep this book until I'm done with my complaint. He gets huffy and more clients show up. He goes back behind the counter. The thing about these complaints book is that you write it in ink, but then you have to follow through and submit them online to the proper authority depending on the complaint. But I didn't have a pen, so I bypassed the ink format and immediately submitted online mentioning the weird analysis of my card, the refusal of service, and as the last middle finger on the fuck you sandwich, Steve Hofstetter, if you know, you know. I also mentioned the missing pages with pictures of the missing pages itself, including the business stamp in the same picture so they can't refute and say it's some other book. Now, because it was online, it goes straight to the authority AC, and you can choose which department depending on the complaint. After an hour of nicotine withdrawal, of looking the business up the pictures and writing the complaint itself, I hand the book in with no written complaint. He opens it, chuckles to himself, and smugly says, "Did you give up because you didn't have a pen?" I say no, because I didn't have a pen. I decided to submit it directly online, and as my last mic drop moment, I said I didn't feel comfortable writing it in the book as the first complaint had magically disappeared from the book. The color drained from his face because we both knew what would happen. Even if they don't take the complaint seriously, tampering with the book is absolutely taken seriously, and that absolutely will be followed up and fined accordingly. Then I smiled and said I wish I had a pen and left. Is this complaint book just a Portugal requirement, or is it more widespread? I've never heard of anything like it. It sounds interesting. Do all stores and companies have a complaint book? As a customer, can you ask to see their complaint book before you do business with a company? Every commercial space has one. It's like a formal suggestion box for negative complaints, but taken seriously. The third page of every complaint remains in the book to provide context for the next user. If related, you can absolutely ask for it and consult if you want, but that's not really practiced here as a normal client, but it would completely make sense to see it if you were to go into business with a certain entity and see how they operate. It at no point can be refused by owner or worker, and if it is, the person complaining has more ammunition to put in the complaint. Hell hath no fury like an addict scorned. Don't get between me and my nicotine, LMAO. Bro, all I wanted was a cigarette, but he had to be weird about it and then be a dick fuck around and find out, I guess. Wait, why can't they refuse service? I'm just so used to merchant being able to refuse service at any time for any reason, so long as it's not due to discrimination of a protected class. Under what circumstances can they refuse service? Under no circumstance can they refuse service. I only found out a couple of years ago when I worked at a cafe and a guy assaulted me and the cafe in question told me they couldn't refuse service to him. I looked into it and it's in the legislation. I think it's stupid too. There are circumstances where you should be able to, but not in Portugal.